Today I'm showing you how to change a tap valve, sometimes referred to as a tap cartridge or a tap gland. I'll also cover fixing a dripping tap, as well as where a stuck tap washer means that you can't turn off a tap. So what happens with this tap is you can turn it on and it turns on easy enough, but when it comes time to turn it off, it doesn't want to go, and I have to really give it some. The first step is to turn off the water to the faulty tap. Now that can be a whole other ball game. I'm not going to cover it here, but if you would like me to cover it in another video, then please comment down below and let me know. Once you've turned off the water supply to the faulty tap, now you need to empty all the pipes. Do that by turning on the other taps that are on the same water circuit as the faulty one. In this instance, this is a hot tap, so I've already opened two other hot taps upstairs and the hot tap in the kitchen. Open your faulty tap if you can and wait for the flow of water to subside. Leave the water off and leave the taps upstairs and downstairs open. That way, if any water still gets through the stopcock valves that you've had to turn off to cut the water supply, then hopefully it'll come out of one of the other taps rather than this tap that you're going to be taking to pieces. Now we need to take the handle off the tap. Most taps are very similar to this in the way you do that. Depends a little bit what type of handle you've got. If you've got a fully enclosed handle like this one, often they've got a press fit cap in the top of the handle, which you can usually prise out with a small screwdriver or even your nails. If you've got this type of tap where you've got the traditional type of handle, sometimes the cap in the middle screws in. Then you'll need a Phillips number 2 screwdriver. Remove this screw from the top and your handle should lift straight off. If you're getting value from this video, do make sure to like it down by the title. Now you'll need to be able to hold the tap steady. You might be able to do that by hand, but I've got a large spanner that just fits over the tap spout nicely. 27mm this is, and I'm going to use that to hold the tap steady. And with a suitably sized spanner, 17mm in this case, which you can use either a pair of grips, an adjustable spanner, or even a correct sized open end spanner, hold the tap steady and simply unscrew the gland. If you find the glands really tight, you can use a socket on a breaker bar or a ratchet. Once you've loosened it off, it should come out fairly easy. Depending on how old it is, it may even have corroded into place. As water passes through the tap and goes through this brass body, it corrodes the brass. You can see the green markings on the sides there. Well, that's copper oxide, copper being one of the constituents of brass. Well, you get the same effect on the inside. When you turn the handle, that turns this shaft, and on the thread that moves this plunger up and down. The plunger of course has a washer on the end here, and that's what turns the tap on and off. And by moving the plunger more or less away from the seat of the tap, then that regulates the water flow. Now, a dripping tap usually is the result of a washer here that's come loose. Now, you can get tap washers and you can buy them, and they're quite literally pennies, and you can replace them. But you've still got to get the cartridge out of the tap to do that. And if your cartridge is a few years old, it's bound to have suffered from some corrosion inside. So once you've got the old cartridge out, you really might as well put a new one in. This cartridge was only about £3, so it really isn't worth the hassle, in my opinion, of changing just the washer, which is easy enough to do. These washers are held on with a little nut, which you can undo with a small spanner, and you can put a new one in, put the nut back on. Some older cartridges have a little like ball end, and the washer literally just presses into place. Those are the type where the washer sometimes will come loose, and when you turn the tap on and then to try to turn it back off, the washer becomes misplaced and you can't turn the tap off. Cartridges are normally supplied in the tap open position. Do not be tempted to hold on to the body and turn the shaft to move the plunger down to the tap closed position. That shaft in the middle has got O-rings on it, and they can, if you move that too far, the O-rings will pop out from inside the body there, and it's very hard to get it back together, and you can break it quite easily. So leave it in the tap open position, and then of course I'm sure you won't be surprised to learn that reassembly is the reversal of removal. I know that some people do put PTFE tape around these threads, but there really is no need, because you get an O-ring that seals to the tap body. So simply screw it down, get your spanner, and then nip it down into place. No need to do it any more than hand tight. You'll notice that this is a spline shaft, and the splines are in there, match. So put your handle back on, along with the new screw, which again, just put down hand tight. Again, you'll need a Phillips number 2, not a Posi number 2, a Phillips number 2. You should now be able to turn the tap and close it. Check that it operates fully in both directions, and return your top trim. Making sure that the repaired tap is now closed, go around your house and close all of the taps that you opened back at the beginning, because now it's time to refill the pipes and the taps with water. And open up the stopcock for this circuit, the same one you closed earlier. As you open that stopcock, you will hear water rushing through it. Don't worry about that, that's perfectly normal. That's just the water rushing into the pipes and compressing the air that's already in there. Once that initial rush has subsided, go round, starting at the nearest tap to where the stopcock was, and open them up and allow the air out and for water to flow out, like this. Do that for all the taps on the circuit, getting further away each time from where the stopcock and the source was. You might get quite a bit of gurgling and spitting, and the water may look like it's stopping and starting, but don't worry about that. That's just because there's air in there. If you got value from this video and I've saved you time, money, hassle, please consider supporting the channel. Link in description, and I shall see you in the next video.